talking about our feelings. Lots and lots of feelings. Well, maybe not feelings, but we are going to be talking about those other things.
Yeah. Well, we did just have some feelings about manatees.
I mean, if you guys want to watch us tip some sea cows later, I think that's going to be part of the agenda.
Yeah. So, and you might be able to see us this time.
Yes, you'll be able to see our faces.
We're being filmed.
It's wonderful.
It'll go up on the Sandspur.org at some point. I think it's Scandinavian.
Guard.
Exactly. So, we still have some more points about what this day and what this week mean to us and to the community. So, Amir, I kick it off once again to you.
Well, I think one of the things that people ask or maybe think about is, it's wonderful to have a Monday off, but there always should be a reason as to why, why we celebrate a specific holiday. I think the biggest question, or a question that goes to that is, what I'm going to pose to you guys, why do you think it's still important to celebrate Martin Luther King Jr. Day in this day and age in 2014, where it's been roughly, I want to say 45, 55 years since Brown versus Board of Education got passed?
Right. I think that part of it is what we talked about in making sure that groups are represented still, and to remember that struggles can still be going on today, as long as it's taught in a way that you can still look at the world through the eyes of how civil rights impacted the U.S. and how in other parts of the world other forms of nonviolent protest were going on, and then see how those could apply today and who are the misrepresented groups that exist nowadays. That seems like an appropriate and worthwhile telling of the narrative, where it's not just, here's a moment in history that will never happen again, let's just pause and reflect and call it a day. I think that part of the education of it is what sort of empowers you to see how change can occur and see how there are groups that still could be experiencing what Martin Luther King fought for.
I think it's still important because it's a day for us to sit down and reflect and celebrate. Because despite all the awful things that were going on around the time, when he was around, there was a lot of change done, and that should be a day of celebration, and to be happy that somebody who dedicated his life to all of these causes just for all of us to have equality. That's a moment that we should be happy for. And then, unfortunately, the way he passed away, we should reflect, and but not necessarily be mournful about it. Just be excited that we had this person who was, I think, like a fighter for the people. Even though we always talk about him being, non-violent, he was still in a way a fighter. Like, he fought for us. And it's a day to look back and see, how far we've come, and also how far that we have to go, and a day for us to come together and connect with each other and relate to each other, and also to be taught these valuable lessons that should never go away.
What do we have for the folks now?
Oscars! Oscars! It's the Oscars. Well, it's not the Oscars, but Oscar nominations have come out, and it's always fun. I know, this is one of my favorite award shows. I enjoy award shows, as Liv does.
I love award shows.
Yeah, they're good.
and I just love the pomp and the circumstance, and
in that order.
But yes, but
not circumstance and pomp.
How dare you? That's an insult.
Excuse me.
No, you put the pomp and then the circumstance. Any other way, that would be like the cart before the horse. That's just disaster.
True.
Anyways, after that insult, this year's Oscars are actually going to be quite fun, if only because Ellen DeGeneres is coming and doing it again. It's, I think, her second time doing hosting the Oscars, I believe.
I think so. It's been it's been like a gap, but yeah, I think
this is her second time doing this. And she previously hosted the 79th ceremony in 2007, and now we're all the way up to the 86th. I'm somebody, I only mention this because I only have to live 14 more years until we finally get to the 100th, and I feel like that's going to be an awesome show. But since
it has
it's
to be
a while, since we're a while from the 100th ceremony, we should at least talk about the 86th.
We'll still be here to talk about it.
We will. I'm not graduating anytime soon. So there's a lot of really interesting things and people and movies that got nominated. So Liv, where do you want to start with?
Oh, well, looking at the list, we can start with actor in a leading role. Christian Bale for American Hustle, Bruce Dern for Nebraska, Leonardo DiCaprio, a fan favorite, for The Wolf of Wall Street, Chiwetel Ejiofor for 12 Years a Slave, and Matthew McConaughey for Dallas Buyers Club.
Wouldn't it be hilarious if any one of those people won except for Leonardo DiCaprio?
That would be devastating. No.
It's bad. It's bad. Well, in all honesty, like, I kind of, I'm always for the underdog, which very much Leonardo DiCaprio is most of the time. But I also really want Chiwetel to win.
True.
Because I feel like, especially when, I can't remember her name, supporting actress.
Lupita.
When she won the critics, or the...
She actually won the Critics' Choice Award and the SAG.
She won the critics and the SAG, and I believe her SAG speech, or whichever one was recent. It was a
SAG, this past Saturday.
It was amazing. Like, she had a very wonderful speech, and it was, Mr. Ejiofor, thank you. He was a driver before all this. Like,
No, that's the guy from Captain Phillips.
That's it. I was right.
What?
Oh, no. Captain Phillips.
Ejiofor's been in, like, Love Actually, and
so I'm horrible.
Kinky Boots and things like that.
I totally thought that was the person, and then my phone just wants to
Good
go
job, Amir Sadeh.
Yay! Well, I have to tell everybody my name. But I'm very interested in seeing. Well, that doesn't help my case anymore. But I am interested to see, but just in general, because he did do a wonderful performance as Solomon Northup, and it's a very interesting, movie. It also kind of ties in with our theme, which I didn't even realize. But yeah.
Yeah, especially when Lupita got up there and said that, this film and this story kind of put a flashlight under the floorboards of our nation and shows, like, what we stood on. I think that very much is fitting of today, and I think today also shows, like, what we've kind of stood on in the past, and yeah.
Yeah. Also, for Best Actress, Amy Adams for American Hustle, Kate Blanchett for Blue Jasmine, Sandra Bullock for Gravity, Judi Dench for Philomena, and Meryl Streep for August Osage County.
Oh, Meryl Streep.
What movie even is that? Who's heard of that?
That's actually, it's based on a play. The Meryl Streep's?
Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like they just saw her name and were like,
yeah.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Supposed to be
Pretty
here.
much. Well, it was really interesting because, like, I have a friend who very much worked on, but worked on the play for her, theater class, and I had never heard of this beforehand. So when I saw that the movie came out, I was like, oh my god, that's a thing what you did, and life, media and art transferring. So no, it was. It seems like it's a very interesting, and I mean, again, Meryl Streep, poor woman. Hopefully.
Or
What?
maybe she'll
3
finally
Oscars
win.
for?
I mean, like, I don't know. I want her to win.
You want her to win?
She's an old
Okay.
soul. She's like me, old souls.
I'm kind of going for Amy Adams, just because everybody makes a big deal about Leonardo DiCaprio and his, various nominations. But Amy Adams is in the same boat. She's been nominated about 4 times and hasn't won an Oscar. So I'm kind of rooting for her.
But here's the, and I mean, they've played similar roles. He's been, he was Jay Gatsby and she was a princess. So,
True.
You can understand. Live similar lives.
Is that right?
This is where I now I understand, because I'm seeing Best Supporting Actor, which actually makes sense. Barkhad Abdi for Captain Phillips, Bradley Cooper for American Hustle, Michael Fassbender for 12 Years a Slave, Jonah Hill for The Wolf of Wall Street, and Jared Leto for Dallas Buyers Club. I feel like Jared Leto's going to win this. Because he did...
Track record shows.
His track record shows, because he won the Golden Globe. He did awesome. And I didn't realize that he had an acting career before 30 Seconds to Mars. I just thought, oh my god, this guy's an amazing rocker. And like, I'm really loving his music. And he had this whole entire career beforehand.
He was on My So-Called Life with Claire Danes.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So
Teen Heartthrob, Jared Leto.
Well, the thing is like, he kind of lived his life where it's like, oh, I'm going to act, and I'm going to take a break now and win, like, Grammys and become one of the best modern rock groups in our generation, and then I'm going to go back to acting and win a Golden Globe.
And a SAG, no big deal.
Just so you remember that I am an actor. But yeah, it's looking like he's definitely gonna get that.
I slightly want to root for Jonah Hill, though. This is his second Oscar nomination. His first one was a couple of years ago for Moneyball.
Yeah.
And just to see where he's come from with like
Superbad,
and the cameo he had like in the 40-Year-Old Virgin, like just to see him from like those goofy parts to get, being a 2-time Oscar-nominated actor.
What is that? If anybody were to tell me out of the people in Superbad that Jonah Hill was going to be the one to get the first Oscar nom, I don't think I'd believe
And even in that group, it's like him and Seth Rogen
Sarah,
and James Franco. James Franco has been nominated, but only, once for 127 Hours, I think. And it's, he's the one who comes off as the more serious, devoted thespian. And, here's Jonah Hill, like, yep, no big deal. Gonna do a movie with Brad Pitt, get an Oscar nomination. Gonna do a movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, get an Oscar
I will
nomination.
be able to check right now. Can you call back in about 15 minutes?
Yeah.
He changed his brand, so... honestly, that one movie, like Moneyball, really just kind of helped show that he is not just a guy.
He's serious.
Yeah, exactly.
And he's hosting us now. This upcoming,
That's gonna be awesome.
which is going to be just also show his range.
And then finally, we have Best Supporting Actress, which has Sally Hawkins for Blue Jasmine, Jennifer Lawrence for American Hustle, Lupita Nyong'o for 12 Years a Slave, Julia Roberts for August Osage County, and June Squibb for Nebraska. I'm sorry, Jennifer Lawrence is my girl, so I'm gonna have to say...
True,
No, that's the thing, is I really do love Jennifer Lawrence, but again, I feel like it's gonna go to Lupita. She just has done...
It'll be interesting because they've kind of gone back and forth because Jennifer Lawrence won the Golden Globe, but Lupita Nyong'o won the SAG award. And now usually, it's been said that the Golden Globe is usually the indicator of who will end up winning the Oscar. Like if you get the Golden Globe, you got the Oscar hands down. But it'll be an interesting night if if things get switched up a little bit and Lupita Nyong'o wins, or if any of these other lovely actresses win. Julia Roberts might come up and get it. We never know.
June Squibb, she may get it for Nebraska. I haven't seen Nebraska win a whole bunch of things, but it's still an interesting story.
Yeah.
The Oscars likes to be classy.
They like the Squibb.
It's black and white movie.
It is a black and white movie.
Yes.
Yeah. Black and white
that
movie.
gives it some Oscar points.
That is true.
What are some things that you think are missing? Who's missing?
Who's missing from the Oscars? Well,
wasn't there like a little like upset about like Robert Redford not being nominated for his film. He was nominated for the Golden Globe, I think, but he's not there for the Oscar. I haven't seen the film, so I can't judge and say, oh, he definitely should have been nominated for this.
I mean, I have my own personal thing about Asghar Farhadi not getting nominated for the Oscars, which will be getting nominated in the Golden Globes. But that's just the foreign film section that nobody likes to or cares about. But that's just me. No, but for instance, the foreign film section for the Oscars is actually going to be really interesting. Palestine got nominated for the second time in history with Omar, which is the one I'll be rooting for. I'm very excited about. So that'll be really cool to see. And I always find like foreign films, people kind of maybe like brush that off to the side, but I actually really enjoy seeing what countries get nominated and who ends up winning, and then I proceed to watch 3 or 4 of those movies like later on, because I just feel like to kind of because movies are given help to give a perspective. So when a movie is from another country or from a foreign director, I feel like you really are able to see the perspective of that country. Especially even in the United States, like we try and do films like set in India or set in the Middle East, but it's more of that Western perspective on the culture instead of that culture's perspective, unfortunately. So.
Right. Like our favorite movie to talk about over the summer, Separation.
A Separation.
So good. Did you see it yet? No, you didn't.
Mm.
And it's Iranian.
And it's I know, don't make me feel bad. My parents are just like, you still haven't seen it. It's like, oh,
What about, when we were talking about the Golden Globes, we're like, Saving Mr. Banks, not very represented, also not represented.
I saw Saving Mr. Banks today. Not today, yesterday. And,
Got to wake up pretty early in the morning.
I had
see
to.
Saving Mr.
I
Banks.
actually knocked on the doors of the movie man, and it's like, Mr. Movie Man, can you open up the doors and let me watch a film today? No.
Yes, Sonny.
Yes, sonny boy. Yes, you have a nickel? It's like, yes, sir, I do.
It's
So-
in original score.
It got original score, which awesome. I'm glad, but I feel like I thought it was. Here's how I thought about it. I really thought it was a good film. It was a very sad, very emotional film. It really tries to show you that the writer of Mary Poppins was a very tortured soul. It was just a very sad movie. And when you look at the the real life, because after you watch a historical film, I'll go on Wikipedia or I'll go search the net and see how their life was and how the movie compared to real life. And it was, if anything, it wasn't sad enough. In the sense of afterwards, her life doesn't just magically get better at all. Not saying that the movie does, but the movie ends off on a pace of hope. There's okay, and then if you go and you watch the interviews with Tom Hanks and Emma Thompson, who obviously did a lot to study their characters. Emma Thompson and Tom Hanks are yeah, things didn't get any better. There was a quote from one of the panels that they, some of her, I think one or two of her grandchildren were at a Q&A about the movie, and they said point blank, it's she died never loving anyone and no one ever loving her. Just a very sad...
Not a Disney ending.
Not a Disney ending for such a big Disney film.
Yeah.
And, but I feel like it so makes sense that somebody would write something so beautiful or childlike, but coming from such a very tortured place. Because I feel like a lot of beauty comes from such a place of pain and hurt. And this isn't the first time a child story or a novelist, kind of had a real life which things didn't really work out so well, or came to resent either their novel or kind of resented how people interpreted it. A. Mom was a very big example who wrote Winnie the Pooh, which was something for his kid, and that outshined all of his other work. And he, after a while, just kind of resented writing Winnie the Pooh. He was like, this was for my kids. My kid's grown up now. I want to write real stories. And unfortunately, nobody wanted that.
Interesting insight on other Disney-related authors. So, anything else about the Oscars?
I think the big one we haven't even touched upon is Best Picture.
Yeah.
The best picture.
Yes.
This is
all 9 of them.
all 9 of them. 12 Years a Slave, American Hustle, Captain Phillips, Dallas Buyers Club, Gravity, Her, Nebraska, Philomena, and The Wolf of Wall Street.
Have you seen any of them?
I have seen none of them.
Liv.
No.
Me neither.
I'm awful. I'm usually good about going to see the movies, and I haven't seen a movie since Gatsby.
I feel like most
Been
of
bad
these.
this year.
I think, and maybe this is just me. I feel like most of these just came out a few, 3 months ago. I feel like they're all very recent. But maybe that's just me. Maybe I feel like there needs to be usually a lot of these films get nominated. It's like they've been out for a while, but I feel like most of the movies just came out 2 months ago, or 3 months ago, and I'm just like, I haven't seen any of you.
Well,
I know Her just came out a little while ago,
Yeah,
and
she
if No
did.
American Hustle was the same way. And Wolf of Wall Street, so I don't know why you guys are up here, because you just came out 2 weeks ago. Settle down, Wolf of Wall Street.
what movies would you want to see out of this group?
I would want to see Captain Phillips. I'm kind of upset that I wasn't able to see it, but now it's on DVD, I believe. So that's definitely, that one I definitely want to see. 12 Years a Slave, I definitely want to see.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't big on it, because when my brother explained the concept to me, I kind of thought it was going to be dumb, quite frankly. But then I saw the trailer and Scarlett Johansson's voice and Joaquin Phoenix's
That's all you need.
performance, and I'm just like, and now I gotta see Her. Like, I looked at my brother and he was explaining it to me, and I'm like, this is stupid. Like, I'm not going to see this movie.
Man falls in love with like a
Siri.
developed series.
It's like, if I want to watch this, I'd watch 2001 Space Odyssey. Like, I don't need this.
A little different.
A little different, but pretty much the same. Whatever. And, so those are the three that, like, if I had a chance. And honorable mention to Philomena, because I feel like that's a beautiful story as well, especially with Judi Dench. So,
I like Steve Coogan.
Steve Coogan, yes.
Yeah, I would want to see Nebraska, 12 Years a Slave, and how about Her? Why not?
Why
It's-
not?
It's different.
It is different, but it's a good different.
It's
Best.
How about you, Liv?
I think I'd want to definitely Her. I think that's the one of the three of us just go to the movies. And
We're all
see
just
Her.
gonna go see Her. 'cause-
I want to see Her, 12 Years a Slave, and The Wolf of Wall Street. I mean, it's Leonardo DiCaprio and Jonah Hill. Like, I really want to see it.
Yeah. Oh, that sounds like it's gonna be awesome.